2015. We're celebrating with Jamie and her dog Remedy, or Remy for short. Remy is her Pup Scout troop leader, pupscout.org, if you're interested in more information. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay, and so Jamie came to our booth here. We're exhibiting ToeGrips at BarkWorld to ask about getting ToeGrips for her dog. So tell me why you would think she's a good candidate for ToeGrips.
Well, Remy's blind and deaf. She was a rescue, and she does great, but when moving from a surface to another surface, where most dogs might see that difference, she doesn't know what's about to happen unless I give her like a signal. And still, then when she goes onto the slippery surface, she kind of slides around a little bit, and it's a little more difficult for her, switching from textures.
Okay, fantastic. So she sounds like a great candidate for ToeGrips. We have had great success with other blind dogs just because they provide an added measure of stability. And for these guys, it's not just about the physical with the slipping. There's a huge emotional component of the confidence and the security, and so ToeGrips very simply can provide that element for them. So the first thing we talked about is whether or not she needs a nail trim, and that's something that is important to you as well, keeping her nails short. And so how often does she get her nails trimmed?
She's been getting her nails trimmed once a week, and we've been trying to file them often too, because when she was rescued, her nails were super long, and I've always been told to just trim the tiniest little bit and not to take any more than that, and that slowly over time somehow the quick will go back with the nails as you take them shorter, and that then over time they can get shorter and shorter. But so far I haven't seen it happen.
I haven't seen that happen either. So in order for that to happen, the quick really has to be almost exposed so that it's getting feedback when it contacts the ground, and then it would recede because the quick is a blood and nerve supply, and so then it would recede to get away from a nerve being exposed to the ground. So just taking the nail short frequently, which is actually a really good tactic in general, if you're not getting close enough to the quick, and we absolutely do not want to hurt her, I'm not suggesting that, but we have to get back as far as we possibly can without causing her pain, right to that limit. And if we don't do that, then the technique's never going to work because the body has no feedback to make the quick recede. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Right, and you're
now,
seeing that.
I wish I'd been told that before.
We've experienced that, and I've seen it in my own practice of clients that are really faithful about nail trims because they've heard that you just keep up with it and it's going to make the quicks recede, and it's just not what happens in reality unless it's done in a very specific way. If you're going to do that, you really have to do them like every couple days, and dremeling might be a better approach.
Which they've told me is difficult because she's got such long fur, so no one ever wants to dremel her.
And that's actually wise, because one of the dangers of dremeling is getting the dog's fur entangled in the Dremel, or even I've seen, not personally, but stories of humans, the technician with long hair dremeling and getting their own hair tangled up in it. So I've heard dremeling is great. It's a fantastic technique. I just love my nail trimmers because I actually carry them in my purse at all times. You never know when you might need to trim a dog's nails, and they're just handy to have, you know, without electricity, etc. So just my tool of choice, but dremeling is great. In general, I would strongly recommend having her paws groomed up a little bit more, because if she's having slipping issues without even ToeGrips coming on the radar, just keeping that paw hair trimmed, and if you look under here, this is acting like slippers for her. So she takes a step, and this, you know, being between the pads and the nails and the hard surface flooring will just act like slippers, and she'll slide on that. So do go ahead and get that all cleaned up.
Okay.
All right, let's look at her nails. Yeah, so this one is proportionally not, they're long. That's not quite as long. These center two are super long. These are the most important nails. This is actually the central two for traction. So I think today what I'd like to do, especially because we have some more time here, this attention span slot, I think the most important thing for this girl is getting her nails back as far as possible. And we're going to tackle that project. And my goal is not only to give her a short nail trim, because that's going to be really transformational for her, but it's also to teach you to do it yourself. I don't know if that's something that you're interested in learning.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, and on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/ToeGrips, there's a video, it's this 3-part video series on trimming your dog's nails, and one part in the series is specifically trimming a black dog's nails. We have a dog with, a little rescue dog with black nails, and there's objective landmarks, so it doesn't have to be this close your eyes and just hope that you don't have blood squirting out when you make that clip.
See, I've always just been told to take the most minute little bit.
Right, but
that's not doing anything.
How far has that gotten you? So we're gonna,
Okay.
that's a great start because at least you've been working with her nails and working with her paws and keeping something, you know, you've been keeping them shorter than they would be otherwise. But we're gonna really take it to the next level
Okay.
of accomplishing a short nail trim. And I don't know how far I'm gonna be able to get them back. I won't know till I get going and see how long her quick truly is, but I'm gonna be able to see that objectively because what happens is as we trim back those black nails, we get to this point where there's like a center. In a white dog nail, a light dog nail, the center turns like a pinkish, and then I know that I'm getting closer to live tissue and I need to stop because if I go any further, I'm going to be at blood and nerve supply and I don't want to be there. But it's an objective landmark. It's a place where I say, okay, I've seen this, that means stop. And for her, that black, it's not going to be pink because the nails are black. It's going to be like a black licorice center, and that's going to tell me to stop. And it's the same thing. I call it, I don't know the medical term for it, but I call it the pre-quick. And for me, it means like that's your landmark. You see that, you stop. But I don't stop until I see that, because otherwise I know that I could take them functionally shorter, and that's ultimately my goal. So again, I promise you we're going to get these shorter. I don't know how much shorter. The other thing that we're going to do is the traditional way to trim nails is to come this way, the nails going to the floor, and to come parallel to the floor surface and clip. And we're going to trim with a very, very vertical cut. And what that does is it's going to take a lot of the nail tissue off the top of the nail that she doesn't need, but the quick runs down at the bottom of the nail. It runs lower. And so without hitting the quick, we're going to take a bunch of nail off the top, and that is going to functionally give her less nail to break over in every stride. Because what we haven't talked about is these long nails affect her brain, believe it or not. It's like wearing clown shoes or scuba diver shoes, scuba diver flippers. So every time she goes to step, instead of just breaking over a normal length of nail, she's got this extra length of material attached to her toes that she has to break over in the swing phase of the gait with every stride. So these nails are affecting her gait. They're also affecting her posture. Because they're long, they're pushing up on her toes, and the toes are hugely proprioceptive. There are tons of receptors in the toes that feed back into the brain where the body is in space. And so it's affecting her posture and gait to have nails like this. And she says, my attention span's up and we haven't even begun. All right, so let's, enough talking.
Amazing, and it also makes me a little sad to think that she's been like this for so long, even when I have her. And I'm telling you, we've been to so many doctors and specialists and people who've been physically looking at her nail beds because that's where some yeast bacteria grows.
I saw that, yeah.
And we've been fighting that too. So people have been looking at this, and so
I think it's just an area of like, what is your passion?
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I like to joke and say Michelle Obama has childhood obesity, and I have dog toenails. It's just something that I'm very passionate about.
Okay.
It's like,
well, I'm glad we met you.
I'm glad I met you. It's just the simplest way that we can effectively change things very fast.
She's excited.
You're saying you see something?
Somebody just came in the door. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get started, but your homework is going to be getting all this hair trimmed up.
Okay.
So if you could put her on your lap with her feet kind of sticking out this way, absolutely her comfort is the most, just, okay, go ahead and set her down. Is the most easy, good girl. That's perfect. Good girl. Her comfort is the most important thing to me. And when I start with a nail trim, I usually start with the back nails because dogs mind their hind nails messed with less than their front nails. And I see this nail bed stuff going on here, which is a whole separate thing that we can have a discussion about. But right now we're going to stick to the matter at hand. Okay, so my very first cut is going to be vertical. I'm not going to go like this and make this cut parallel to where the nail would contact the ground. I'm going to go vertical. And I'm just going to go in increments because I'm going to try to figure out how far back can I go. And you think she's going to tolerate this pretty well? Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. So I'm just going to start with little clips. Okay, I've gone from black, now I've got white there. You see that? That is still dead tissue. I can keep going.
That's not the black licorice.
Nope, you're doing great, baby girl. You're doing great.
I thought the white was the quick.
Nope, that is still dead tissue. And now I'm going to start going kind of around the edges, and I'm sculpting the nail, but I have still not gotten to anything live. Okay, so
wow.
See the flaky stuff on my nail trimmer coming off? Yeah, so these are going to be really short. Now, can you see, I mean, we've taken off I feel like almost half the nail.
Mhm.
Starting to hit black licorice. Do you see it?
Yes.
Got it? Can you see that on the screen, the change in the center there?
You're okay, Remy.
So I don't really want to go any further with more vertical cuts, but now I can sculpt around that. You're a good girl.
You're okay.
We may have to do this actually in 2 sessions. Maybe we'll just aim for the back nails right now. But as you can see, I haven't made her bleed, but I don't want to go any deeper. That's my landmark. I have not hurt her, but if I keep going, I will. Again, I can kind of shave off of the top.
Do you want to just, can she take a run around break for a
She can
second?
take a run around. I can shave off of the top. I can sculpt around the sides. Did you see me working the
Yes.
sides? But
And
I
that
don't
makes
want to
them
go
rounder, which is nicer
It
too.
is nice, but I don't want to go any deeper in that center cut. So that, like right there, if you got that, you have the foundation. Good girl. You have one short nail. So can you see how dramatically short that is?
Yes,
compared to
that
where
was
we started?
amazing.
Like that, I'm really happy
I've never,
with that.
and I've watched so many nail trims, it's always been one, and then they stop. And then that's the nail trim for that nail. So,
Right. So
okay. Let's go round 2.
round 2. And like I said, maybe today we'll just aim for the back nails, and tomorrow for the. Are you here tomorrow?
Yes.
Tomorrow for the front nails. Now I have a little better idea of where the quick lies, and so I can get a little more aggressive right off the top. But all this is dead, this gray white stuff.
She doesn't feel any of this.
Does she look like she feels
No.
any of it? Right. So you got it.
She's just also, she's been at a hotel all weekend, so she's like,
Yeah, but you know, I mean, you can attest to the viewers at home that this is not causing her pain.
no pain at all. This is just Remy's been out since 5 o'clock this morning and yesterday.
Good girl. Good girl. Okay, so again, I'm starting to get to this black licorice center.
Wow, okay, and that's your sign. That will tell the quick to go back, but you can not go much further.
I don't really want to go much further. I'm just going to, like I said, just use my tools to kind of sculpt around it. Because if I leave that quick, or really pre-quick, out where it's going to get some feedback from the ground, then it can recede, but it's not going to otherwise. Okay, see the difference? That's really important. That's the pre-quick. I can't go any further. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm telling you, that's not pain. She's just very, very vocal,
You're
this
doing
one.
great, baby girl. I know.
You should hear what she sounds like in the middle of the night when she needs to go out. She sounds like a lion. I'm not kidding. I have recordings of it. She growls like a lion.
You are such a good girl. This is really, really, really a treat for me because this is such a simple
well, this is a
thing.
treat for us.
And you can become a nail trim advocate now and help other people.
Well, because you want what's best for them, and a nail trim is like one of the easiest things you can do at home. Why wouldn't you?
And obviously it's been important to you if you've been trying to keep up with it every week. So the great news is right there. So I'm done. See that? How it changed? It's a darker
Yes.
around the gray. But also, can you see how short they are compared to where they were? I can still go a little more on the top, but I just can't get any more from that center core area.
Lower area.
And I can go off to the edge. Last one on this side, baby girl.
Good job. Look at how long that is.
Yeah, so long. And again, I'm still just gonna kind of take segmental cuts back, but I know already because I've got an idea of where her quicks are that we are really able to make
Is
a
this
big
something
difference.
you figured out yourself, or did someone train
It's
you?
a great question.
school?
I give credit to Dr. Judith Shoemaker, who is a veterinarian in Pennsylvania. So not in vet school, but in my training for to be certified through the American Veterinary Chiropractic.